TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, we are getting into 5 rings. We are getting into the 5 rings. So, first and foremost, this is a very important thing, but this is a list, okay? So, the Book of 5 Rings is ultimately connected to the samurai or the way of the ninja, somebody who is wielding a saber, wielding a sword, or a long sword or a short sword. So check out the Book of 5 Rings. This is something that I like to listen to, like an audio book that I generally like to listen to. But with this type of thing, is it actually is the 5 elements. That's what the 5 rings represent. So not only is this intercorrelated with, fire, air, earth, ether, water, this is intercorrelated with the pentagram, which is also intercorrelated with the 5 elements. Okay, so first and foremost, let's just jump straight into it. These are 20 types of things that go along with the Book of 5 Rings, which is very important, okay? Number 1, there's nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to actually get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is actually all within. This is the Book of 5 Rings, okay? Especially in totality, this is just the Book of 5 Rings. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself, for everything is within. So, like I said, guys, there's nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or faster. Everything is within. Number 2, think lightly of yourself and think deeply of the world. So this is the cultivation that everyone is important, and it also cultivates humility, where like I am important, but I'm not as important as the collective, as the 5D collective. Okay, my 3D body might be important, my 4D mind might be important, but the 5D collective is significantly more important than me. I am just a part of the whole. I am a part of the whole. Okay, so that's really what that stems from. Number 3, you must understand that you are more than just one path. You're on more than just one path to the top of the mountain, meaning that you have diversions, and see, the people who are on the path can comprehend this. I don't like to say understand this, but they can comprehend this. Okay, they can actually get that there's more than one path to the top of the mountain. And so therefore, I know that I'm going to take more than one way to the top of the mountain. Most people very rarely take a direct route to the top of the mountain. Okay, and a lot of times like that, it comes from these types of, like, I guess you could say movies, where they are showing you the impression. It's like, it's either called The Climb or The Top of the Mountain. All these different types of movies will try to depict it for you guys, okay? And the whole thing about this is, like, somebody will try to climb. So in 300, they'll try to climb to the top. In Arrow, when he's going to fight Ra's al Ghul, he's climbing the mountain. It's like representing the mindset of climbing to the top of the mountain, which is all connected to Reiki, the samurai, the Jedi, which is the samurai, okay? Just so you guys can comprehend that. Any types of martial arts, the warrior monks, the gurus, this type of mindset. People who are yoginis, yogis, okay? It's all studying this type of stuff. The 5 elements, which is interconnected to all of this, okay? So you must understand that there's more than one way to the top of the mountain. Number 4, do nothing that is of no use. So let's actually reverse that, because, or let's like look at the mirror image of that, which is do everything that is of only good use. Do everything that is of only good use. So rather than do nothing that is of no use, I mean, obviously there is that correlation. There has to be 2 of those. So when I do a double negative, I always have a double positive with it, because it's creating shields. That's really what it is. But when you say do nothing of no use, that's great. But you can go more powerful. You can say do everything of good use. So we'll leave that. You guys understand that. Number 5, the ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. So a lot of people are always like, yo, I've been training so I can beat this person's ass. I've been training, da-da-da-da. But a lot of it is not even about self-defense. It's not even about being like Cobra Kai, being the first, no mercy, hitting first, seeking pain, stuff like that, like no pain, no mercy, all this type of stuff. that type of aspect in like Cobra Kai, that's a big thing. But then there's another aspect where I guess you could say like the Miyagi-Do, or somebody who's like Mr. Miyagi, where it's like wax on, wax off, this type of stuff. Okay, there's that type of thing where it's just like only see, but that tends to be more of like protective. I think there has to be a balance. Ultimately, there has to be a balance. So you can wield harsh, which is the balance of the warrior monk. This is all interconnected. The warrior monk, okay? This is all interconnected with the 8 techniques. This is interconnected with the yin and the yang, the 5 elements, the 5 phases of change, okay? 5 is the number of change. 5-sical reality is a forever changing reality. It's all interconnected with Kaizen and stuff. But ultimately, there has to be a balance between Cobra Kai, and there has to be a balance between Miyagi. And this balance is ultimately not even having to use the martial arts, meaning that it's an internal state of thing. Just like I said, a lot of the things outside of you that you're trying to fight mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, the battles are won within. They're won within by the perception and the perspective of how we look at those things mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. When you start to realize, like, I don't have to beat this person's ass because he's my brother, regardless if he's an idiot, doesn't mean anything. See, and then that level takes you to a new level where you say, just because I don't agree with him, just because I don't see eye to eye with this person, doesn't mean I have to kill this person. Doesn't mean I have to hurt this person. Okay? And that's what the totality of the Christ consciousness and the collective consciousness is really getting to. It's taking time, but it's happening. Number 6, if you wish to control others, then you must first control yourself. This one's self-explanatory. Let's move on. Okay? Know yourself. If you want to know others, know yourself. So, know yourself in solitude. How do you get to know yourself? Solitude. Being solid in your solitude, not complaining about your solitude, not complaining about going to the gym and being alone, not waking up early and being alone and all this type of stuff. Getting to know yourself, journaling yourself on your journey. All right. Number 7, from one thing, know 10,000 things. So this is just like Bruce Lee when he said, I do not fear a man who has done 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man, or I fear the being who has done one kick 10,000 times. So this is a very important aspect, that if you are trying to do something from one thing, know 10,000 things. This is also the intercorrelation that when you know this book, you've learned 10,000 things. When you've drank water, okay, you know 10,000 things about that water. I know it's weird, but it's the meditative mind. You see the thousandfold in everything. You see the crucifixion in everything. You see the crux, which is ultimately what it is in Asian cultures. Crux, cross. Okay, this is the cultivation of this. Where, look at this chair. Okay, some people might just think it's a chair, but you can look into the 1,000 benefits of the chair, and that is starting to actually really see. You start to see the matrix. Okay, let's move on. Oh, it's perfect. This is great. Number 8, you can only fight the way that you practice. You can only fight the way that you practice. Meaning that even if you are being trained, if you are practicing differently than you're being trained, that's how you're going to fight. You're going to fight that way, not necessarily how you're being trained, but you're going to be training how you're practicing. So practice better. Yo, what's up? What's up, Hawk? How you doing? We are in the book of 5 rings right now. The main points. So you can only fight the way you practice. And this is a big thing too, where your practice makes perfect. We're talking about practice. We're not even talking about the game. We didn't even talk about the game. We're just talking about practice. We're just talking about practice? All right. So yeah, we're talking about practice, but the way that you practice is the way that you win the game. The way that you practice is the way that you win the fight. Okay? And also practice winning. Which is what? Small wins, not big wins. The big wins are what? The wins that matter, which is the game, which is the fight. Okay? Number 9, perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. So this is a very big thing, that not everything around you is as it seems. Not everything around you is as it seems. So you guys have probably heard this in a multitude of things, like in movies or in shows, or, not everything is as it seems. So this whole thing is starting to see beyond what people want you to see. So what does this mean? Well, everybody's walking around in Louis Vuitton and Gucci shit, but are they rich? No, they went into debt to buy that purse. They absolutely went into debt to buy that purse. Okay? They went in debt to do that. And it's starting to see things from like those points of view where you're like, how can I never be in debt and make a bunch of money? That's only on the physical aspect of that. Okay? Only on the financial aspect of that physical asset. Okay? Or like fitness. Fitness is riddled. Not even riddled. It's riddled with vanity. But you guys get the point. It's riddled. I mean, there's just so, it's running rampant. Okay? Just vanity, vanity, vanity. Okay? And like, so if someone looks at themselves and they're like, oh, you know, some people might think that that's vain, but that person might not be vain. But the people who are actually doing it for vanity are the vain ones. I know that sounds weird. Okay? There's levels to it. There's absolute levels to it where you could see beyond, where you realize, oh, okay, the body's structured this way for this reason, for these chemicals, for this electricity, for you're starting to see beyond just what does the physical body look like. So perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. Also look into your experiences, into your environments, into your relationships. See beyond what they just want you to see. See, and then good relationships tap into this. Good relationships actually tap into this. Okay? What do I mean? Okay? I mean that when you can communicate by things that which are unseen, and you can communicate on such an in-depth level with that being, with that person, and they can do the same, that has hit a new level of relationships, of emotional capacity, of mental capacity, of physical relationship capacity. Okay? All right, number 10. It is difficult to understand the universe if you only study one planet. It's difficult to understand the universe if you only understand one planet, or if you only study one planet. What does this mean? This means that you guys keep studying Earth and you're not even studying Earth. That's the crazy part. You're not even actually studying Earth because you're not looking beyond Earth. So the whole thing about this is like, it's a chain of events, and it's also an interconnected chain link. It's an interconnected galactic universe. Okay, it doesn't mean it's a dual verse. It's a universe. Okay, I'm not saying the multiverse doesn't exist, but multiverse means multiple universes. Multiple universes. Okay, so the intercorrelation that you can jump to different universes where you are in that assumption, then those assumptive languages in those universes is how those universes are created based on the assumption. Okay, and a few other things, attraction, programming, conditioning, stuff like this. But ultimately, it is difficult to understand the universe if you only study one planet. So, a lot of people get on me like, I believe that life is on all planets. Okay, I believe life is on all planets. Like, I believe there's beings on the sun. But they're at a different frequency. They're at a different frequency to where they can actually be on the sun. Okay? That's the difference. A lot of people will only be like, well, because I don't see it, I don't believe it. But is that what believing is? Or is what? We are to perceive that which cannot be seen by the eye. Which means that that's where true belief is. That's where true honesty, that's where true integrity, that's where true truth is. To not say anything and follow through. To do things and not say it. To be honest with yourself and not have to tell somebody that I'm being honest or I'm being truthful. So, which is is actually really teaching enlightenment. Because, and really teaching like real truth, real Brahman, as I would say. Which is what? Okay, you cannot speak about that which is truth. Okay, what does that mean? That means like you could only beat around the bush. You can only beat around the bush. You can lead people to the water, but they still have to drink it. Okay, it's a big thing. And the whole thing is realizations, meaning that I could tell Hawk, I could be like, yo, Hawk, I'm going to go to the gym today, and I'm going to do this. Or I could just shut my mouth and I could just go to the gym and tell myself in my brain, I'm going to go to the gym today and then follow through on that. And that's being honest. So there's two ways of honesty. There's telling someone and then telling yourself. But you can tell yourself because you're someone. It is difficult to understand the universe if you only understand or study one planet. And why did I say you guys don't even understand this planet? The reason why you don't understand the planet is because you're burning it. You're polluting it. You're doing all these different types of things to it. Well, I'm not saying that I'm not 100% perfect. What I'm saying is that by aligning ourselves, by cultivating the Fibonacci sequence, by getting better every day, cultivating Kaizen, getting constantly 1% better, that includes plastic pollution. That includes the way that you eat. That includes the shit that you study. That includes, even the bad words that come out of your mouth, including the actions, the habits, the things that we do. All of those things are intercorrelated and connected. They just 100%, 1000% are. And the more that we align ourselves with truth, that's where we're going to align. Okay, let's speed these last 10 up. Number 11, today is victory over yourself of yesterday. That means that it doesn't fucking matter. The only easy day was yesterday. It's just like what the Navy SEALs say. Today is a victory over yourself of yesterday. What does that mean? That means you gotta win better than you did yesterday. Even if you won the day yesterday, win more than you did the day yesterday, which is Kaizen, constantly getting better, constant improvement. But it's also realizing that whoever this version of yourself is, this person won, okay? It doesn't matter who that person was who got you here. It matters who this person is, because this person is, not was. Okay, I know it's a little bit weird, but it is a time-based thing. Remember, Asian culture, they're very honed in and they're really good. Okay, today is a victory over yourself of yesterday. Now, tomorrow is yourself over the victory of lesser men. So that means that so this is a victory over lesser men. See what I'm saying? What does that mean? Men. It means living. Man means living. Okay, so we are human beings. Okay, Hugh, light, living beings. Light, living beings. That's what we are. So what? Light, living beings. Okay, what is when there's a lack of light? Or there's a light and an object? A shadow. A shadow. Okay, so that's what shadow work is. Okay, light work is focusing on the point of reference, not on removing objects, removing traumas. Okay. So if there's an object here and there's a trauma and this is the light, this is the point of reference and it's shining, it's going to cast a shadow. But if you remove that, that's shadow work. Okay, the light's here and now there's no shadow. Okay, light work is improving the light. It's the easiest way to understand this. Okay, and so that's why you do shadow work and light work. And that is also bringing the light out in others and helping other people with their shadows. I know it sounds very interesting. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. Number 12, get beyond love and grief only exists for the good of man, for the good of living. See, when you start to remove man and you put living in there, it makes sense. Womb, living, woman. You total a human being, hue, light, living, man, okay? Being. We are light living beings. Go beyond love and grief exist only for the good of man. This is self-explanatory. This is something to meditate on. Number 13, do not regret what you have done. Do not regret what you have done. So, because what you have done has led you here. Okay, and the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist, the now exists. Why doesn't the past exist? Because when the past was happening, you were in the now at that past. And when the future, when you think it's going to get here, it's actually going to just be the now because that's when the now is going to be here. Stay woke. 14. If you do not control the enemy will control you. This is a great quote. Okay, if you do not choose to consciously program your mind, somebody will offer unconscious programs to you. Subconscious programs to you. They will program you. Okay? If you don't choose to program yourself. Number 15, all men are the same except for their beliefs in their own selves, regardless of what others may even think of them. So this is what? Getting to the first point. There's nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, smarter, fitter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Nothing is outside of yourself. Seek nothing outside of yourself. If you do not control the enemy will control you. Number 15, all men are the same, or all women are the same, except for their beliefs in their own selves, regardless of what others may think of them. So this is really honing the point of individuality, authenticity, aboriginality, originality, true light being inside of somebody. Someone's true what? They don't have doubt. They don't have shame. They don't have guilt. They have true courage, true embodiment, true belief systems, okay, true bravery in who they are. They take action in who they are. And they believe that they really are that good. Okay? Number 16, to know 10,000 things, know one well. To know 10,000 things, know one well. So if you know 10,000 things, make sure you know one of them very well. You know one of those things 10,000 times. This is probably a meditative one too. I'm definitely picking up the whole meditative vibe on this. It's also like if you know 100,000 things, you should know 10 things pretty well. Okay, which means that it's focus. It's focus. A lot of people who know 10,000 things and don't know one thing, they're sporadic. But if they know one of those things out of those 10,000 things, they're significantly greater. See what I'm saying? If there's 100,000 things that they know 100,000 things. They know 100,000 things. They know 10 well, which means that 10 is a good focus. I get it. I'm picking it up. 17, the only reason a warrior is alive is to fight. And the only reason a warrior fights is to win. What is determined to win? Death? To know a reason, the only reason a warrior is alive is to fight. And the only reason a warrior fights is to win. So this is like, think of spiritual warfare. Just forget physical warfare. Think of spiritual warfare. Think of emotional or mental warfare. Okay, think of this type of stuff. Relationship warfare to some degree. Okay, I want you guys to really see that when you are on the same, I guess you could say team, okay, you guys fight for the same types of causes. You guys fight for the same types of things to be alive, for those things to be alive too. You want to win those aliving things. What is history? It's his story. It's his story. It's who the being is, the grand being right now has written. Doesn't mean it's necessarily the truth. The truth is well hidden. Okay, there's things that can be removed from those types of things. So history is not necessarily the truth. It's just his story about how the truth was seen. This is a very great quote. The only reason a warrior is alive is to fight. The only reason a warrior fights is to win. Think of that in spirituality, meaning like you start to be passionate about very, very big things too in your life where you're like, I really want to conquer this. I really want to up level and I want to up level my life. I want to get rich. I want to get fit. I want to be rare. I want to do all this type of cultivation. I want to build my life. Okay? And then fighting for those things to really cultivate and winning those things, winning those small wins through your habitual construction, your actions. That's when that's why you truly exist. Okay? Number 18, respect God without counting on help. Wow. That one's self-explanatory. But maybe we need to go back to it. Number 19, the important thing is strategy. The important thing in strategy is to suppress the enemy's useful actions, but allow his useless actions. You see that? Suppress the enemy's useful actions, but allow his useless actions. This is connected to the art of war in the Book of Five Rings. When you combine the art of war in the Book of Five Rings, even maybe the 48 Laws of Power, and you put those all together, your life transforms. 20. To become the enemy, see yourself as the enemy of the enemy. That one's self-explanatory too. You just have to meditate a little bit. So this is the Book of 5 Rings. The 5 rings represent the 5 elements, okay? Fire, air, earth, ether, water. This is the inner correlation between doing a multitudes of different things. This is, chimed into the art of war, which we are going to get into. But also, this is really the Book of 5 Rings, where it's talking about short swords, long swords, and really getting into the mindset and the spirituality even of training as a martial artist. Like I said, guys, the ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. Okay? Doesn't mean not knowing them, doesn't mean not know how to wield them. Why is it a warrior monk? Because you learn warfare and then what? You don't use it. You become a monk. You understand the whole cultivation of it. You meditate on that type of stuff, and then you don't take the path of the warrior. You don't take the path of the warrior. You take the path of the monk, the warrior monk. So that's pretty much it. This is the Book of 5 Rings. Peace, much love, namaste. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.